Hello everyone, it's Laura here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to make a fun splattery background using Distress Oxides and a straw. I already posted a card using this same technique last summer, but I made it with Distress inks, so I thought it would be fun to go ahead and try to apply the same technique to Distress Oxides and see what the result look like. For this card I'm using this stamp set here. This is by Clearly Besotted Stamps and it's called Onesies Halloween, and I really love it. I think it's so cute, I could not resist it. They will also come out with a Christmas themed one and I am not sure I will be able to resist that one either. But anyway, to start off my card, I stamped my images on some Nina Solar white cardstock using Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I am coloring them in with my Spectrum Noir markers. For a bit of a different, look, because I always tend to have my light source coming from the top right corner, for these images I'm coloring everything as if the light comes right from the front. So the edges of the images will be darker, whereas the center of the images will be lightest. Because the background is so colorful, I decided to stick to the obvious choices for these kids' costumes and color them using different types of grays. So for the spider, I used the GC family, which are called green grays, but I don't know, they just don't feel as icy as the IGs that I'm using here on the bat. And for the mummy, I used the warm grays, so the BG family, because when you use warm gray on clothes, it gives the appearance that they are sort of dirty, and I thought that would look nice with the mummy. I kept the coloring pretty simple. I think in some cases I even just used 2 shades per color, and I am speeding through it in this video because I wanted the video to be focused mostly on how to create the background, but I also thought it would be interesting for you to see how I colored the images, and you can always slow down the pace of the video through YouTube if you want to, to observe the coloring process from up close, let's say. Here I'm using my cutter bee scissors to cut the images, leaving a little white border around them, and I'm adding some details with my white gel pen. And it's finally time to move on to the background, and there is a very sad story behind this card because I was actually done after coloring the images. I just had to basically glue everything together, but I messed up and I had to start over. So I used the die by Evriel to cut some Canson XL watercolor paper, and now I'm coming in with my Distress Oxides. And you see what I'm doing. I am smooshing the ink pad on my craft mat. I am adding water and then I'm picking up the ink with a piece of acetate. So as you see, I'm diluting the ink quite a bit, and to create the splatters, I am blowing through a straw. That's a quite wide one, and it gave me very fun splatters. In between each application, so to say, so between one color and the next, I'll make sure that I have everything dry. So I go in with my heat tool and dry everything, because I don't want the colors to mud up. The Distress Oxide colors that I used are Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron and Spiced Marmalade. So once my background was dry, I could go ahead and start assembling my card. I already have my card base ready. That's some black cardstock cut at the standard A2 size. And I already mounted some fan foam on top because this will give some dimension to my card and will help me keep this watercolor paper flat. Also because the background was so busy and I didn't want these kids to get lost in the background, I used some vellum that I cut down to a strip, which I adhered in the middle of my front panel, and this way the kids will not, as I said, will not get lost in the busy background. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I had previously created a card using the same technique, but I had used Distress inks instead. And I think the results are pretty similar in the sense that, you get the same kind of nice flow given that you dilute the colors enough. But because the Distress Oxides have this oxidation properties to them. I think you get a little bit more texture in the splatters, but I don't know, I just love them anyway, and it's so fun and so easy to create really interesting backgrounds with this technique, so I encourage you to give it a try. And if you did, just let me know, because it's nice for me to know that what I put out there is useful to somebody. And as a final piece of embellishment, I used some Nuvo drops. These are the Crystal Nuvo drops in black ebony. And I am arranging them in a more or less symmetrical fashion to frame my sentiment and my images a little bit. And that's it. That's my card for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it useful. If so, please let me know in the comments below. Leave this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can visit my blog for the full list of supplies, and I hope I'll be back soon with another video. Ciao!